Very nice. Welcome back to GTC. Got a little sun on my face there. Shane here. Thanks for tuning in. I am doing a 5,000 mile follow-up short-term review on my 2023 Toyota Camry, and we're going to get rolling here, and I'm going to drive and talk. And I like the 5,000 mile review. When I went to YouTube and would be looking for car reviews, I like the initial impression, but the problem is I want to know what people think after they've lived with the car for a while, because that's when you start to figure out the little nuances of, oh, these are the things I'd fix, these are the things that are good, these are the things that are bad, and are they livable? Not the initial review where you're sort of wowed by everything and then that honeymoon phase, right? So I like the 5,000, so I hope this is helpful for you guys. So 5,000 miles. I've taken this on long trips, on short trips. It's my daily car. Let's start with this. Let's start with the seats. I still have gripes, and I know I can't fix it, about the seating position. I just wish I could go down and just go down a little bit on the seat. But I understand I'm in the top decile in terms of height. I'm almost 6'4". And so most of these cars are not catered to a guy that's 6'4", but something to think about. I don't not have room, but you can see I only have about maybe an inch from the top of my head. And speaking of that, it can cut off part of your viewing of the heads-up display. So if I put my head back, I actually am cutting off half the heads-up display. So normally I drive like this, I don't drive all the way back, so not big problem. I do like the heads-up display. It's a sunny day, it's nice and clear. I can see the speed limit. To the right, the speed, my speed. Below, I've got the RPMs, and then I've got a compass, and if you turn the radio on, it'll tell you volume and so forth, so that's pretty cool. And I think you can adjust, just here to the left of the steering wheel, you can adjust the brightness on that. So along the same lines as the seat, heated and cooled, love it. Now what's funny is I never cared about that before. I was always like, I don't need the heated and cooled. You know what? The problem was I never really appreciated it because I never had cars with it. Now that I have it, come on, heated and cooled, delicious. It's one of my favorite things, and my daughter loves it. She gets in, it's got 3 levels, toast right up. Oh, it's so nice, especially here it is, 40 degrees out. Also with this particular car, is the heated steering wheel. And it does a really great job of heating it all the way up the middle of the steering wheel, 10 and 2 position, and it gets warm real fast. So you can get in and hit that on a cold day, and I use it all the way to work, and so that's great. So those features are great. In terms of the viewing position, steering wheel adjusts really, really nicely. I can see all the gauges. I really like the combination of the analog and digital. Both analog, your tachometer and your speedometer, and in the middle you have a customized digital display. I think that's a really nice blend of sort of old school and new school, and I do like that. The Honda Accord, if you remember, sort of had a hybrid where on one side it'd be digital, the other side was analog. I kind of like just keeping it traditional, and then in the middle the digital. I love the new screen display. For the most part, it's quick, it's clear. The backup camera, in terms of quality, especially now that I saw my wife's CX-9, that's like 4K compared to this, but it gets the job done. There's a ton of sensors. I have noticed that when I'm parking, the sensors are slightly delayed, and what I mean by that is I'll go by when I pull into my garage, I'll pull in past the gate, the corner of the gate, and I'm already sort of past it, and it starts beeping at me, and I'm like, well, okay, would have been nice if you told me that before, but I haven't had any issues, and I'm parking right now. You can probably hear that front sensor, and it gives you a bird's eye view, which is super nice, so I can pull in without hitting the front fascia. So I have no issues on the tech, except for one thing. There is no wireless CarPlay, Apple CarPlay. It is 2023. Everything should be wireless. I have to plug it in, and then it brings up the CarPlay. Not like a massive issue, but come on. let's update that. The other thing that I don't love is the piano black. It's pretty, don't get me wrong, but it's a nightmare to keep clean because you got fingerprints all over, and if you rub it too hard, then you get swirl marks. So I'd rather see like a carbon fiber or some sort of aluminum hex trim or something like that. So not my favorite, but I don't think it's an option to not get in this particular model. Sound system, I already talked to you about that. I have no gripes long term. It sounds good. It's not the loudest sound system, but it's very sort of boomy and has a lot of mid. And then of course I fixed the deck lid. I got onto YouTube and found that what happens is the deck lid, when there's the JBL subwoofer is going, it's rattling and then it's hitting the slant of the window and making this sound. So a lot of people are stuffing towels and so forth. I put a little bit of foam around it and kind of buried it in there, and 98% of it went away. But again, let's fix that in a $45,000 car. Going back to the seats, they're fully adjustable. I love that. I have no other complaints about the design of the interior. I think it's very upscale. It's super nice. The shifter's fine. I don't use the paddle shifters a ton, but if you do and you're going down a hill or you feel like it, I mean, they're not the quickest, but this is not a sports sedan where you're going to be curving back roads and using your paddle shifters. But it's a nice feature if you want it. Cup holders work well. Heated and cooled seat buttons are just right here, right? Super easy to get to. Electronic parking brake. This is a hold. I actually haven't really dived into that. You guys could probably tell me what that's for, but I think that's, well, I'm not quite sure. But Eco, Normal, and Sport. Now I will tell you, it defaults to normal. I have put Eco and Sport on. I don't notice like a huge difference between normal and Sport. There's a little bit of red. Let me see if I can put this on here and go to Sport and see if you guys can see the difference. So see how it lights up in the left upper corner here? So right up here, it says Sport, and this turns red down here. That's about it. I think the steering tightens up and throttle response is just slightly better. But other than that, not a huge difference between that and normal, which is totally fine because in all reality, it drives super nice. Here's what the piano black sort of looks like. It's pretty. It's got some sparkles to it across the dash. I do like this look here, which is really, really nice. It's a non-textured piece of what looks like some sort of carbon fiber material. You can see here, this is the layout, and it's reasonably quick. Go back to home. Here's our menu. Okay, so now let's talk about how does this drive? Very nice. If you guys have ever had a Lexus ES350, that sort of really nice, soft, plush, quiet ride, this is it. And it's not like bobbing and weaving down the back roads because it's so soft. It's actually very nice to drive on back roads, and the suspension is nice, but it's just comfortable. It soaks up the potholes and the cracks and crevices real nice. It's not jarring. It's perfect. It's actually how I would want a daily driver family sedan. This is designed perfectly. It reminds me actually probably a little bit better than my Lexus GS 350 F Sport. I have to say that right because I think I said GSF before, not correct. GS 350 F Sport. I love that car, but very similar. In fact, the shifter kind of feels the same, and just how it feels. The power plant, which is the V6 301 horsepower. I don't know why they got that one. Feels perfect. It revs nicely. It pulls very nicely. It's a very linear and usable power. I don't struggle going uphill, you know, trying to find gears and shifting and trying to extract all that power. Super smooth. I don't think I have really any other complaints. I haven't had any new rattles or whistles, or, you know, you usually get that within the first 5,000 miles. I haven't had any new warning lights. I haven't really found any weird, you know, things on this car that you usually kind of discover, or things like, oh, that's interesting. USB ports are all totally usable. We already talked about the Apple CarPlay. Seating position in the back is super nice. The center hump isn't too bad. You can pull down and put drinks in the center console. Everything that you touch is really, really soft. So this is soft touch here. This is soft touch over here. And even across the top, it's not that hard plastic. It's fairly soft. And even on the dash, it's the soft material. So well done, Toyota, on just really keeping a nice feel to the car. The doors close nicely. I don't use the sunroof a ton, but I do open it up just so I get some light in here. But all in all, I think I'm going to enjoy this car. And you're going to have a hard time finding a sedan with a traditional V6 or something that feels similar other than the Honda Accord that's going to feel this nice. And I told you the problem, and I've had both, between this and the Honda Accord, and there are some plus and minuses to both, but the Honda is very light feeling. It's very airy, and you can kind of feel like you can toss it around a little bit. It doesn't feel as solid and hunkered down, so to speak. Very lively motor, but it has a lot of road noise. And compared to this, it's much more noisy. You can hear the road noise, you can hear the wheels, you can hear the bumps, you can hear some of the wind. And so for those of you that are going to commute every day that want more of that whisper quiet car, this is it. This is it. Now, I don't know anything about the four cylinder, if they sound as good or they feel as good, but this one is just a nice car to drive. And I love the traditional transmission. I'm not a big CVT guy. I think those things sound funny. But this is a nice ride so far. So I give it an A. A minus maybe with some of those little quirks, but I give it an A minus at my 5,000 review. I'd like to do a 1-year review and let you guys know how tires and brakes and just sort of if there's anything else, quirks that come up. But so far, so good. So hopefully this helps you in your journey and finding something similar. Or if you were on the fence about a Toyota Camry, I say go for it. And so until next time, this is Shane GTC signing off on another video. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Have a great day. Take care.